3 years ago, I was making cookies as a hobby from my kitchen for friends and family. Today, I've supplied thousands of custom cookies for corporate events, weddings, birthdays across New Zealand. I'll be sharing how I started my cookie business, Sweets by Becca. Just to give you a little backstory, my name is Becca and I'm 25 years old. I started my business 3 years ago. Before I started my business, I was working full-time as a manager. And in 2023, I decided to make the jump. The first set of cookies that I made were not fondant cookies. They were like sugar cookies and they had icing on top with sprinkles. For some reason, I was obsessed with those cookies and I made them all the time. And this was around COVID, so a lot of people were kind of like dipping into different hobbies and doing something to fill in time. But I was browsing the marketplace and I could see that other people were posting their baked goods for sale. They were posting things like custards and mousses, and I don't know, I just kind of thought like maybe no one would really want cookies. During that time, I was baking a lot and I was experimenting with a lot of different recipes. I was trying to find a recipe where the cookies held its shape during baking. I didn't want them to mount or spread inside the oven. I ended up finding a recipe that worked for me. It didn't spread inside the oven, and when I took them out to try them, they were actually really nice. They were crispy, but yet soft in the middle. So now that I had my cookie recipe, I wanted to start designing them. To me, fondant is just like Play-Doh because you can sort of like use your hands to work it and create different designs. It's a little bit firmer, but when you really start working it with your hands, the warmth from your hand actually makes it really soft. I made a couple designs. I think my first one was like a dinosaur that had one eye. I also made a marble colored star and it had white, navy blue and yellow. Over the next few months, I really tried to perfect my craft. I was working on making them look professional and clean as possible. I made sure that there was no fondant overhanging the edges and that when the cookies came out of the oven, there were no spread ones or overbaked. And over time, batch after batch, cookies in and out of the oven, I started to get consistent batches of cookies. Every tray that I would pull out of the oven, the cookies would be perfect. They stayed in their shape and none were overbaked. It was actually quite satisfying and rewarding. Fast forward to June 2023, I registered my business, Sweets by Becca. It was under the business name Sweets by Becca Limited. I signed all the necessary documents and then over the next few days I went to the bank to open up my business account. That was done and dusted, but then I had to register my kitchen. So if you're not from New Zealand, you actually need to register your business as an entity and then you need to register your kitchen. So they're two separate things. Honestly, I'm not gonna lie, the registration process for your kitchen is a pain in the neck. But once you have it sorted, it's a lot easier from there. The first inspection is all about the council getting to know your business. So they want to know what food you sell, how you'll be storing it, if you'll be selling your products to other businesses, what sort of ingredients you have, allergens, and etc. Lucky for cookie businesses, they are considered low risk. I'm not dealing with any sort of raw meat. I'm not dehydrating or preserving, and therefore the processes are pretty simple. So around July 2023, my entire company was registered and ready to go. But I did not have a website or any kind of social media for my business, so I decided to sell on Facebook for the first time. I actually have a photo of the first set of cookies that I made. I can remember them very vividly because I was so nervous to make them. The customer requested the cookies to have a marble colour with the phrase Maddie turns 5. Because I had no website and order form, they would pretty much just text me what sort of colours they wanted and the phrase. There was no structure or funnel for the customers to place their order, choose their phrase and colours, and it be done. There was a lot of back and forth and confusion, and it made things really messy. In July, I really started to hone down on my website. The first platform that I used was Wix, and I didn't really like that one because there was a lot of bugs and technical issues where the customer couldn't actually check out. And I remember a customer emailing me saying they couldn't add more than one item to their cart, which was very odd and I couldn't figure out why and how to fix it, but I ultimately decided to go with Shopify. I created my website and I started promoting it on my Facebook page. A lot of my Facebook customers were redirected to my website. It was great because it gave them a more easier way to order things. I made a ton of mistakes in my first 2 years of business. The first mistake was underpricing my baked goods. So in the beginning, I used to sell the cookies individually for $2 each. This was just a number that I made up that I thought would be affordable for my customers. I wasn't taking into consideration my margins or how much profit I was making. In the beginning, there was a lot of guesswork, so I would just guess things and, eyeball it, thinking like, oh, well, like a bag of flour doesn't really cost that much. And therefore, I just wasn't actually sitting down and doing my numbers properly. Because in business, you need to take into consideration things like cost of ingredients, cost of supplies, overhead expenses, business expenses like your website, registration of your business every year, and so much more. The cash flow of your business is the lifeline, and so if you're not making money, then it's not really considered a business, but more of a hobby. And so obviously, in my case, selling my cookies, you need to make sure that there's a profit. But anyways, the second mistake I made was not having clear pickup and delivery policies. When you're new, it's easy to try and be as flexible as possible because you don't want to lose a customer, and I found myself agreeing to last-minute changes, different pickup times, and special delivery requests, which often made things more stressful than they needed to be. At the time, I thought good customer service meant saying yes to everything, but I quickly learned that having clear boundaries actually helps both you and the customer. When expectations aren't clearly communicated, it can lead to confusion about pickup times, delivery dates, payment deadlines, or even where an order is being collected from. As the business grew, I realized how important it was to have clear information available from the start. Customers now know my lead times, pickup arrangements, delivery options, and payment requirements. I had this all listed under my policies on my website. It saves a lot of back and forth communication and helps orders run much more smoothly. Having these policies in place also makes it easier to manage your workload. Instead of constantly adjusting your schedule around individual requests, you can focus on creating great products and providing a consistent experience for every customer. Looking back, I wish I had put these systems in place much earlier. It would have saved me a lot of time, reduced stress, and made running the business much more efficient. Pretty much wraps up the story of how I started my baking business. Looking back, it's crazy to see how far things have come from those first few orders to where the business is today. Starting a business hasn't always been easy. There have been mistakes, challenges, and plenty of moments where I've had to learn as I go. But every order, every customer, and every lesson has helped shape Sweets by Becca into what it is today. If you're thinking about starting your own business, my biggest piece of advice is to just begin. You don't need the perfect setup, the perfect equipment, or all the answers straight away. You'll learn so much through the experience, and every step adds up over time. Before I finish this video, I wanted to talk about something that I don't think gets mentioned enough when people talk about starting a business. When I first started Sweets by Becca, I genuinely had no idea what I was doing. I knew how to bake, but running a business is a completely different skill set. I had to learn how to price products, speak with customers professionally, organize orders, manage my time, create invoices, market myself on social media, and figure out all of the behind the scenes things that nobody really talks about. There were so many moments where I questioned myself. I remember wondering whether anyone would actually buy my cookies. But 3 years later, I've sold over 25,000 cookies. I receive orders for large weddings, corporate events, communions, birthdays, and so much more. Something I've learned is that confidence doesn't come before you start. Confidence comes with doing something over and over again. Every order I completed made me a little more confident. Every challenge I worked through taught me something new. Even the mistakes helped me improve my business. One thing that surprised me was how much of my job isn't actually baking. People often think I spend all day decorating cookies, but there is so much more that goes into it. Some days I'm answering emails, ordering supplies, updating my website, planning content, creating invoices, packing orders, or organizing deliveries. Running a small business means wearing a lot of different hats, so you quickly become the baker, photographer, marketer, customer service team, and delivery coordinator all at once. Looking ahead, I'm really excited to see where the business goes next. I still have lots of ideas, goals, and things I'd like to achieve. And that's one of the things I love most about running a business. There's always something new to learn and something new to work towards. Most importantly, I want to say thank you. Thank you to everyone who has placed an order, supported the business, shared my content, or simply followed along with the journey. Small businesses wouldn't exist without that support, and I'm incredibly grateful to every single person who has helped Sweets by Becca get to where it is today. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you in my next video.